Hello. Got like 2 more minutes. Hopefully all of this stuff will work today. I know. I hope Instagram likes me today. It looks like they upgraded on my end, updated something on my end, so I hope it works. Hi. Thank you for coming. Just waiting on Tiffany to come on in. How's everybody feeling? How's everybody doing? Good. Oh, what happened? I hope today is better for you.
Hello.
Oh my God, it worked on the first try.
What?
How are you?
Oh my gosh. Better than last week.
Really?
Which I
That's
feel
what
like that
everybody
was
is saying.
last week took me out, yo.
It was very emotional, draining. It's still kind of draining because I'm still on calls with different people about how they can help in certain ways. So it's very, you don't want to cry on a call because we've cried so much. It's kind of like, okay, this is what I need you to do type
Right.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Will.
Yeah.
I miss you.
I know,
I haven't
right?
talked to you in so long. I just saw you featured on the Village Market. Congratulations on that.
Yeah. Amazing. I want to be just like him.
I know. Me too. Me too. But filmmaking is hard. It's no joke. It's definitely
It is.
Yes.
No, nothing compares to what he does. Like I'm still learning how to do lights and stuff. So I got my little ring light. That's all I got.
I need one of those. I like my setup is so like hood resourceful. I have my like an empty candle with a coaster, and I'm like I prop my phone up, and I was like, okay, I think this works.
Right.
And I got
Is everybody seeing us? Right. Is everybody seeing us on? Can you put a thumbs up? Because we can hear each other. We can see each other.
I'm gonna like.
Let me like scoot down a little bit. Hold up.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us. I know it's Thursday. It's been a long week. It's been a long year.
Right.
Woo! So I'm excited for this conversation. I don't know
Me
what questions you're
too.
gonna ask, so I hope I have some answers.
No, it's not gonna be because I haven't talked to you in so long, and it's just good to see you, see your
Oh.
face, see how you're doing and stuff. So yeah, it's and just seeing what you have going on. So like, I guess I could just talk about first is like your new role that you are in for at the National Black Arts at
Yeah.
as an artistic director. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So it's kind of a blessing that this role kind of opened up for me. So National Black Arts, I reached out to them maybe in 2019, I forget what year it is, to sponsor one of our events for Art Basel. And so they came in on as a sponsor, and I started really building strong relationships with the president as well as the programs director. And we realized that there was there needed to be some new energy within the organization to have kind of like a youthful element to their audience, because they have an audience reach of 61,000, but it's a very
Wow.
older audience. So how do we kind of engage younger people to interact with the brand?
Right.
And with me, like, I'm a very like grassroots type of builder. So I work
Right.
in environments where I thrive, where I can just like say, you give me an opportunity and I can build that. So I built a strategy for them, and they liked it, and they were like, okay, we'll hire you on as a consultant, which is great. Because the thing is, though, I can't quit my work with Tila and just assume this position full time. So I needed to make sure that I had time for my first passion, which was Tila, because you work so hard to start a
Right.
business, you
Right.
don't want to quit that as well. So it's been hard, I think, like for the first 3 months of the year, trying to like wear two hats and think in two ways, and with two different missions that ultimately drive the same thing. So I've kind of gotten better at it, but sometimes I feel like I spend more time in one org or more time in the other org, and it's just I have to look at it as a harmony that exists within the work, and that we're all trying to do the same thing at the end of the
Right.
day. But it's
Right.
fun. I really, really love it. I love the runway that the organization gives me. And I love actually having an extensive group of team members, because I think it makes me be a better leader, at least with managing a very small staff with Tila. It's like me and Sierra. But with NBAF, it's 7 people. And we
Oh
have to
yeah.
communicate as a group. So I think like that's been kind of refining my leadership skills, which I'm happy for that opportunity as well.
Nice. So I see that they have like a grant or something coming up. Can you tell us more about
Yeah.
that too?
Yeah. Yeah, they're Black creators on the call. I actually updated my bio with my personal email, because I know that people want to know about these different relief funds, and sometimes the relief funds seem inaccessible, or like, can you apply or do you qualify? So I really want to make myself available for this, and this is an ongoing effort, at least until the remainder of the year and going into the fall. And so those funds were started because we realized that there were not a lot of Black art relief funds for Black artists across different artistic disciplines. And the relief funds were very targeted or central to states as well. And then full-time artists. And then like, what is a full-time artist? Because a lot of Black artists have a full job. And so we realized there was a gap in funding opportunity, and we were pausing on our public programs, and we have budget to play with. And it's like, okay, yeah, we can be conservative with our money and be like, we're going to just keep it and play it safe because the world is falling apart, and keep the money for the organization until 2021. And I was in Tanzania at the time when the idea came up for the Artist Project Fund. And so I reached out and I was like, hey, I think this is the best way to pivot our public programs right now, is to direct that discretionary fund and put it to give it back to artists. Because like, if we say that we support, we fight and fund artists, this is the time we need to,
Absolutely.
fight. And so we started off with a small pool. Like, we were like, okay, $5,000, whoop, whoop, this is great. That's all we can give. We felt good about it. We awarded, I think, like 15 artists during the first cycle. And then the Warner Media grant came out with an additional 25,000 that they gave us. And we were like, whoa, that's incredible. Now we can extend it and award more people. And then it was like, let's keep this going. And there was a Power to Give with Giving Tuesday that came up. And so we've raised $7,000 through our Power to Give. So now we're up to be able to do over $30,000 worth of grants and awards to Black artists. So I'm excited. Like anyone, I'm like, tag people, because we don't have a lot of applicants, to be honest, and we do have money to give. So if you have something that you hold, filmmakers, anything.
Please, everybody. I just saw it today when I was like looking over your stuff, and I was like, oh snap, I'm going to apply, because I've been applying to like everything. And then we have 10 artists under ComfiArt, so I usually send that stuff to them also so they can apply too. So yeah, so you'll see everybody apply now. Don't be afraid to apply.
Good. Yeah, and give me a heads up too. You know, like let us know. Like just email tilatrice@mbaf.org, because it's good to kind of get a heads up of where these our pipelines are. You know, we want to honor our relationships within the community and make sure we're not overlooking anyone that truly needs that support. So that extra kind of email or just ping is always helpful. So just shoot us out and don't feel like, oh my God, am I bothering her? Because you know, you want even advice, tips on the application. Like sometimes you think you're providing enough, but you may not be providing enough. I think a lot of times applications can be a barrier of entry for artists. So you know, we're all like willing to have a conversation or support. I was just talking to an artist today. He was like, so what is this? And how do I answer this? And I was like, okay, here's how you can do that. You know, here's the best way to make your application, you know, the strongest.
Right. Absolutely. Because even me just looking at different applications, and all of them are similar, but some are different and some want different things. And you can get overwhelmed on, you know, just filling out the form. And then when you really like get into it and you're not really prepared, or you don't have the time span to do it the way you want to, it's just like very overwhelming. Last night I was with my marketing manager doing one, and we were reading over it, and I just got so overwhelmed. I was like, I can't even like do it. It was just too much.
it's a lot. There's honestly, I think I said, and I mean, write in the comments, y'all, if y'all have problems with application, this is not anything that is like, not excusable, even for an art administrator. You know, like I even have trouble with applications, and I have to take at least 3 weeks to transfer all the application questions into a Google Doc, and then
exactly what I do.
And then ask for people's advice and mentorship, because I don't know. Sometimes like, I don't know. I be making stuff up and I'm like, does this even sound like me? Or just It's hard.
I know one thing. I know one of them, I'll say the name, like, I was going to apply for, it was for the Beltline. And I was going to apply for that. And I had enough time because I know Nash is part of that. Ash Nash is part of the Beltline now. And she was telling me to do it. And I looked at that and I was just like, wow, like they really want to know about dimensions and all of that. And I was just like, oh no. There got to be a whole nother way. I'll go back to that next year, but to be prepared now that I see it, like even if you just need to just look at the form and just, get used to what questions that they're asking. Most of them are the same questions. And just like Tiffany just said, like put it in the Google Doc and have it ready for the next one. What was one of I definitely see applications and decide I would do more freelance work instead of
absolutely. Absolutely. But then you got to think about too, I think, so understanding that there's a language barrier to applications is the first thing that we have to acknowledge. And then I think too, how do we simplify that? And it's something that I try to refine questions. The questions that I at least provided for NBAF this time around, we ask people for feedback and say, how can we edit our questions to make you feel like you are better prepared to answer them? And then I think too, sometimes know that you're not alone in the application process. So, you know, Will's question was like, sometimes you can get overwhelmed when you see something like, man, I don't want to admit that I don't know. But something that at least Sierra challenged me to this week during our one-on-one was like, why don't you just write a stakeholder document and see who you know, what you can ask to help and shore up some of the things that you're not good at. And so thinking about that is applications. And so I would say, like, if you don't know the dimensions, then who is in the public art space that's done a mural that can take your idea and be like, hey, can you just convert this into a 12-foot wall? This little sketch, I need that to be digitally rendered. I can't work Photoshop, but I know someone that you know can work Photoshop.
And that's so funny. I asked the artist that's under Design and Muse, and I was just like, he was like, girl, I know how to do that. I got awarded last year. And I was like, what? So
those are the questions that you need to ask, you know, and I think sometimes, you know, you always think that, I think we primarily look at money as the way to solve, like we have to pay or do things, but I think like your network and your relationships with people are also currency. And like, if you can just say, hey, you can barter or exchange ideas, it makes our community way more stronger than always thinking about operating in money. Because as Black people, we're naturally underserved. So we may not have money to offer it for them to help us with the application, but we can bring them on for the project. And I think that's the way organizing needs to happen, at least right now, you know, like where we are in our climate, Black voices are being raised. People are looking to help us, like you're talking about, like all this help is being come to us. But really, we have to identify what we need beyond money to make those advancements. So yeah, I think thinking beyond currency is like the thing that I've been trying to weigh in on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is kind of the time for us, Black artists or Black people, to kind of reach out to those people now, because they are open arms and willing and wanting to. This is a great time. So I am also going to definitely like sit back and see what I need help on or support on. I don't like to say help. I like to say support on to kind of push ComfiArt, and then also in exchange helping others as far as like barter or whatever.
We sent our first proposal right before this call to a client, and it was a hard, big ask that I'm hoping that reaps really big benefits. And you know, it's like, it's interesting to get that guts, but I think too, you have to realize, the people who are tuning in, that if you have a job or you're in a position of power or leadership, you have a privilege. Even if your skin is Black, you know, you do have a privilege being in that position to be an advocate on behalf of people who may not have your position or your leverage or your network. And so I look at that as like my greatest asset right now, like being able to build really strong relationships in major institutions or corporations. That is my privilege, that I have to operate and open up doors for other people, and not being afraid to ask the tough questions, to put somebody in a leadership position or get that contract or do something else. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I exercise that? Because like, to me, that's my biggest form of protest right now. Like, that's how I protest and do advocacy work, and dismantling capitalism. And, you know, I may not be on the streets, but I can be behind my computer screen doing that. So I think that is how I'm looking at the space that we're in right now.
Right. So with your trip to Africa, like, what did you learn? Like, you was there for a while. So.
Listen, honestly, I was there for a wedding. I was there for Miriam's wedding, which was incredible. I feel so honored to be a part of her experience.
Right. Those pictures were beautiful.
It was so sacred and so amazing. And I've been to the continent multiple times. So my first time to Africa I was in high school. I did an exchange program. I was in South Africa for 6 months. I did not want to leave at 15. It was incredible. I went back for the World Cup. I've been back a number of times. And this time, it was my first time in my 30s. And so I feel like in my 30s, I'm still early 30s, so I'm not like old. I'm like 31. And I was like, I felt, because I'm more confident within myself, because I know myself, I felt more aligned and in tune with with my roots there. You know, like I wasn't gonna come back. Well, I was never trying to come back. I'm still not trying to come back. I'm trying to go back and move. It just made me, I just realized how much joy that I deserve. You know, like I feel like my whole life has been a fight. Whether it was in education, my high school experience, college, fighting as an entrepreneur. I've been fighting my whole life. And honestly, I'm sick of fighting. And it's hard to acknowledge that and know that you still have work to do here. But to me, if I've been fighting for 30 years and my ancestors and my elders across the street have been fighting, when are we going to have joy? And when can we have that undescribable joy that is not, our lives aren't at jeopardy of it? And to me, that is what Africa made me feel like. And I'm sure other people have that same experience. But I have like a 12-month plan to peace out and go live over there. I'm tired.
It is very tiring. And it's just so funny because me and my sister was like, we need to find somewhere to go. And then I'm thinking to myself, darn, my passport just expired like this year. So I can't even get it updated until everything opens back up and stuff. So it's just like, I'm stuck.
Girl, I am ready to go.
I know it is. I know everybody is ready to go.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about Tila Studios. Like, I know that you work with fabulous women in the arts. What more do you want to do with your platform with Tila?
That's such a great question because I feel like it changes every day.
Yeah.
I really do. I feel like it changes every day. And, you know, I think the vision of the organization changes every year. And right now, I think at the root of what we're doing is trying to reach as many women as possible and serve them and fund them. And that has been incredibly rewarding right now. Because I think just getting the applications from the Above 4 Fund, you know, it's almost over 200 applications that we're reading every day. It allows us to collect information about the importance of our work. So a lot of times thinking about our theory of change, thinking about our problem and solution statements. So our problem statement is Black women artists are disproportionately represented in museums and gallery spaces because only 4% of art are from Black women. And our solution is to offer professional development, studio space, and community to increase representation in museums and gallery space, right? And that was a big, big problem to solve for us.
Yeah.
You know, and we did it in a number of ways that failed and succeeded, whether it was having our first spot in East Point, whether it was moving to the goat farm, whether it was moving to a digital community. Now that COVID hit and we're in a national crisis, pandemic, racially as well, we have now an opportunity to define the parameters of our work and really do some deep research. So the Above 4 Fund allows us to take an in-depth analysis of what type of artists are out there, one, what type of work they are doing, where their income is coming from, and how artwork is a large part of that. Because a lot of people were like, well, your market is not that big. Like, how many Black artists are there? And now we're knowing we actually have, that's been the conversation to investors the whole time this has started. So now that we have the data from our application, now we can look at what the actual need is and really have and create a new solution for it. So that's what's been really exciting. So I don't know yet. I think like this year is going to be really telling about how we pivot and create new platforms and solutions for the organization. But the Above 4 Fund has been very informative for us right now.
Yeah, I see it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It is. Are you guys gonna go back to Art Basel, or did they even say anything? Are they going to like do that?
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
man, Basel probably won't happen, but it's such a huge part of the Miami tourism and economy that it actually needs to happen, because a lot of things have been canceled because of COVID. So talking to some of our partners down in Miami, they said that the deadline to know whether or not Basel is going to happen is June 1st, but we're well past that. Basel hasn't made an announcement. People are holding on, you know, with tight strings to say that it will. If we go down there, it will be just the administrative team to do more research and legwork and build partnerships. We won't take a cohort down there. And we've had some really great feedback and some things that we need to refine in the fellowship. Like, the fellowship's not perfect. So it's a great time for us to pause and evaluate what we've been doing to make it better. So we've talked to our advisory council and agreed to make the fellowship biannual. So we won't take a group every year. We'll move into a biannual fellowship and then make it for start in 2021 is the goal, but we'll see.
That's nice. Yeah. I think it's good that everybody has a chance to kind of reset and to look at their goals. COVID, maybe a lot of bad things that's happened, people passing loved ones or whatever like that. But I think I'm kind of grateful that it has happened to a point. You know what I mean? It kind of have me like stop and just like reset and look over almost everything, every aspect of personal life and love life and spiritual and business and stuff like that. So I'm kind of glad. I don't even want it really to go back to where it was, honestly.
No, I mean, you know, I think this is a change we all needed, because at the rate that we were going before COVID hit, it was almost a hyper productivity mode. It's like you just always had to produce. You always had to produce. You can never have time to think critically and evaluate. And if you did, it was look like you were losing momentum, right?
Yeah.
And people needed a break to reevaluate itself. It needed a break to get stronger and better and eliminate and cut some things. And for me to do my own professional development and growth and have more transparent conversations with our community, as well as my community manager. So I needed it. And I've been wanting it. Like, all of 2020, I just want to stop, you know, but it looked like the first 2 months that I was never going to have a break. I was supposed to be in Senegal, I think, this week, or it was crazy. I was booked every single week, 12 to 15 hours a day. And this has given me the time to prioritize. And I think too, really people are realizing that while COVID halted a lot of business opportunities, it has fostered relationships. So I think we needed to invest in our relationships a lot more. We needed to have conversations outside of money or partnerships, but just how are you? Are you good?
Right.
Do you want to go for a walk? The amount of Kevin from Gallery 72, who I never talked to ever really outside of projects, he called me today and I was making my coffee. He's like, how are you? And I was like, Kevin, you called me to check in. So that's great. And thanks. That hyperproductivity is real. And I think we needed to cut that out and really focusing on what is true community building and relationship building right now.
Right. And we had to connect as humans back to square one. Square one. Pick up the phone. Call someone.
Pick up the phone. Listen, pick up the phone for sure.
Right. Oh my God, it is so good. What would you like to see more in the art community pertaining to Black artists?
Pertaining to Black artists, I would like us to make more demands. We're in a very unique time to get what we need and what we want in order to grow and sustain ourselves as businesses, and not just capitalizing, on the current situation or white guilt or anything like that. But I think, being able to vocalize those inequities is something that really inspired me. Was, I don't know if you were on the call last night
I
with
was.
Heather. Yeah, with Heather.
Yes, I was on
And
the call.
Heather curated and listened and surveyed the Black arts community. There was 72 voices at the table with the Community Foundation. She led a very insightful conversation, asked for clarity around their hiring practices, making sure our funding is equitable to Black organizations the second round, eliminating the language barriers in those applications. And so her level of advocacy
and funding and auditing
her level of advocacy on that call was like, okay, she was not playing. And I was
she
like,
was not playing.
Those are the type of conversations that I'm going to challenge myself to have, and be okay with that, and be okay with them being tough, because I think like we need those tough ones now. So I just want to see that happen more. And I want us to see us collaborating across the boards a little bit better. And then meeting in person to organize. I think I wish we can go back to like Harlem, where everybody was in salons and talking and sharing ideas. Like I want that type of level of organization, organizing.
Yeah, and I also would want to see more of how the nonprofits work better with for-profit companies. Because
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I know, but you know, that's something I'm putting it out there, because I know there's like it's so hard. Even if it's more like they was talking on the call, even more of, you know, having that list like corporate companies have, to show, okay, this is a pro-profit, this is a profit company, art company that we can collaborate with and contract them out to kind of help them get into this type of relationship with nonprofits. I thought that was a great suggestion on that call. And I think it could work. I know there are legal things that you have to deal with nonprofits when it comes to certain things like that. But it has to be a better way, especially if we're not allowed to get some of the funds when it comes to that. Because, you know, we're struggling too, even though we're for profit.
Listen, everybody thinks Tila is a nonprofit. Everybody emails me. They're like, can you apply for this? And I was like, I don't qualify. I'm a for-profit organization. They're like, oh, well, I've gotten away around it by having a fiscal agent. I know C4. So for you, like C4 offers a fiscal agent program where you can have a project that you want to raise money for and route that money through them, so people can actually get that tax deduction and have it go to ComfiArt. We've been able to take on high level donors from the $25,000 to $50,000 range through our fiscal agent. So that's how we got a lot of our money last year. There has been talks for us to start a nonprofit because it could be easier, especially in Georgia, to get money, because a lot of corporations don't do corporate sponsorships at all. They don't. So a lot of the times it does route through their foundation, the Home Depot, Coca-Cola, etc. So if you're working and doing business in Atlanta, it does make sense to at least have a nonprofit arm, or have it operate as a fiscal agent, or have someone that can float their 501(c)(3) status to you to route those checks,
those funds.
So that's the only way we've done it, and it's worked out time and again. The Warner Media, that's how we were able to get the funds. We technically didn't qualify, but because we had our fiscal agent and a good standing one, we were able to get those funds. So I think speaking up about that, we just need to change their ways they work with fiscal agents. And they're so old timey that they haven't thought about that yet. Whereas a lot of other states have.
I thought you were a nonprofit.
No, we're not a nonprofit. And I'll explain that reasoning too, because I know a lot of people are like, why isn't Tila a nonprofit? And just to kind of give clarity around that, it's when you have a nonprofit, you have a board, and the board has governing rights to your organization, where you cannot pivot in a timely manner. And because our issue and the work that we are doing is so innovative, we need to pivot and listen in real time. So if I had to make a change to my strategic plan today and had to take it back to a board to get voter approval and they somehow didn't like it, then I cannot implement that change. And we would not be able to grow or even maybe do some of the programs that we're doing now or have the fund or do the fellowship if we were operating as a nonprofit. So that was the reason we decided to do it that way, or I decided to do it that way, because I wanted to grow quickly. And then I also did not want to give out, that full power when I didn't even know what I was building, so early on. So I think eventually we will have a nonprofit arm, when we reach the 5-year mark. It takes 5 years for an organization to really get their meat and their nuts and bolts worked out. So there have been talks with our advisory council and executive committee about what that nonprofit arm would look like and who would be a part to control that, to get some of the arts education funding and things like that. But right now, I think it's the best way to do it. And we been blessed. I think yesterday I got my first investor interview. Praise little baby Jesus.
Praise God.
I have been declined for 2 years straight. 2 years straight, I have been pitching to get an investor. And it's been no. And I finally got my first interview yesterday. So I think staying true to your vision is key too. It's just hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow. That is good news.
Yeah, I was crying. I was like, oh my God. But I have no idea. They ask questions in the sample. Oh, it's going to be 30 minutes and it's going to be this. They had all these questions and I was like, I have no idea what any of these words mean. I have calls all next week to prepare for that interview.
Right.
I don't know. What is an investor interview? Who knows? Oh, yes, Elizabeth.
Hallelujah. I know.
So great.
So if y'all know anything that you can help Tiffany on or know someone, reach out. It's community here. Help her. Help this sister.
Yes. I got a call with a DC investment firm who's been a great advocate. She's going to coach me through it. I have some other mentors. So if anybody's been through an investor round. Oh, sorry.
I know.
Did I disconnect?
That is so good. Yeah. Uh-oh, wait. Okay,
I think I disconnected. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Oh, man, because I know the struggle. I don't think I'm in that. I'm in that, space now, trying to figure out the decks and what to say in the decks, and then looking for some more mentors for ComfiArt, because now it's more of a 3-tier company. For those that don't know who I am Deanna Collins, the founder of ComfiArt.
Yeah.
And I didn't even do any of that. And I collaborate with visual artists in Atlanta and hope to expand outside of Atlanta for visual artists. And they create original artwork for my products online, exclusively for ComfiArt. So it's now a year investment for the artists. They are part of a group called Design and Muse. And we now have classes one-on-one on digital marketing, learning how to market their brand and themselves. Also learning their analytics and their audience of how, because each artist now have different audiences. So on my end, when I promote or I create ads, I like to focus on their audience, not just on ComfiArt's audience. And then just working with them on that. And then we do events, virtual events now called In the Comfy Zone, panel discussion, and then sorry, phone rung. Artist Life is a series that I'm doing with different high caliber artists now. And then I have when we open up, hopefully with events, I do business to business with these specialty boxes for ComfiArt that we can put our product in the boxes for their VIPs and speakers. So it's all together, but different ways to talk to each persona, I guess you can say. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So just trying to focus on that, trying to also find ways to make the money since I am for profit on these events. And in the Comfy Zone last month, we charged about $5 for the RSVP. And we did very well on that just for the $5. So we have a next one in August that we're charging for the information. They also get like resources, PDF resources after the event and stuff. So, discount codes and all of that stuff for the people that was on the panel to kind of help them on their journey as artists. So, yeah. Whew, that was a lot, honey.
I know. But sometimes you do so much work, you don't even realize how multifaceted you are.
No.
And the verticals that you have to build your revenue and your income for your company. And so I always think it's very great to share that, the how you run it, because it's different ways to touch different audiences, but it's all for one mission.
Oh, right. And I that's what I say to artists. We can do a lot of things. We're creators. Artists are. So we have different ways of moving in this field. You just have to find the one that's for your work and for your brand, because it coincides together. And and also the pitches like that, telling people about ComfiArt has been ever changing. Like this pitch of telling people about ComfiArt has changed a lot from the start. And to say that without stuttering or having confidence about what you're putting out there into the world is work. And I just everybody that's on or listening to both me and Tiffany, I think it's just keep on practicing on those type of things when you're out and talking to people and letting people know what you do with your art.
Right.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that too. And I think a lot of times some people get really, if you're an artist out there and you're like, I have so much to say, I don't know how to say it. And that evolves, and I think don't focus on being perfect. Don't focus on having all the answers right then and right now. Focus on being yourself, because investors, people, organizations invest in the people that are doing the work, not the actual work itself. Because your idea may or may not be new. Most ideas have been thought of by 5 or 10 other people. It's about, can you be the person to carry out and execute that idea? And I think that has been the testament to my own personal success, is that I know that my work ethic and my thought leadership is what gets me maybe a little bit farther than some other people. And it's not because I'm smarter, it's just my tactics around my work. And so I think about that, thinking about who you are and how you do the work, not really the work itself, because the work will get done and it may not be get done how you want it to get done. And that's okay. You're allowed to fail. Like no successful entrepreneur or artist comes out swinging with 10 beautiful paintings out the back. It takes time to refine what you want to do. So don't be afraid to just believe in yourself, and just be who you are.
Absolutely.
People are going to support.
Yes. I think that's it. This has been an enlightening conversation. it's so good to like literally like Tiffany, like we haven't seen each other in a long time, like in person and stuff. Not because of COVID, but just in general. And it's just such a good scene. Like people don't know the connection. I used to be part of Tila Studios, and I remember talking to Tiffany about ComfiArt and us having that one-on-one time of just figuring out what I was going to do with ComfiArt and stuff. And it has grown so much, but that one particular moment has been amazing to me. And I want to say thank you
you're
to
welcome.
you.
You don't realize, you know, I have to pull myself out, Deanna, out of the work, and something that I really struggle with. I was actually on the phone with my mentor the other day, and I was asking him, you know, do I have to be the face of the work? I think it's so easy to tokenize Black women in positions that are doing really great things and believe and invest in their stories in order to invest in their work. But I thrive. I'm actually a very introverted person. I don't enjoy interacting with people a lot. I accepted your invitation to do an IG live. I've declined like so many of them because I'm like I look at my to-do list and that's what gets me going. And so thank you for bringing me outside of my comfort zone, you know, into having this and valuing, you know, me and sharing that moment with you, because sometimes like I shy away from that, and I know I need to step up in that side of things because I don't. I'm always like, I just want to be behind the scenes working, you know. Right. But the relationships are so important at the end of the day too.
It is. And thank you. You're not the only one. Everybody that I've asked to be on this series has said the same thing. Like, I'm only doing it because you're good. You're cool. You're cool. And that's what it is. Like, no. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. But okay. You're not gonna ask me no crazy question. No, I'm not gonna ask you no crazy question. I'll send it before I'll send it to you before I ask it though.
Listen, does anybody tuning in have any questions about what we said before? I know we're about to like close up. It's been a great 45 minutes talking with you. I just want to see if anybody else has any questions too. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. I'm about to go on my little walk after this.
Yeah, me too. I have to walk.
Gotta walk, girl. Eating too much fried chicken in the South, so.
What? I gained so many pounds. It's sad. I'm gonna get it together though. I'm gonna get it together.
Well, all right. Well, all the virtual hugs. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wait.
Okay.
What would be ideal mentors beyond investors?
Oh, Elizabeth, you already have something coming your way. So Elizabeth is incredible. Elizabeth and Deanna, you should definitely follow Elizabeth Duvier. Okay. She reached out to me in last year, top of last year, about wanting to support Tila. And I was in the middle of still working in corporate America, wasn't ready to accept support at that time. And since then, not only has she invested in Tila and our fellowship, she's came down to Atlanta to teach a workshop. She's come and extended her network to me. And it's just been an incredible relationship that started off as something, just a general inquiry into building as something more. And so you're actually like on the top of my list. And I've just been trying to figure out how to leverage people that are in my network that want to provide that support outside of money or outside of investors. So I'm working on something within that, Elizabeth. And then, licensing your work is, I think, another way to add that extra value. So we're working on that as well. Like, how do we at least get work out to whether it's like film companies and things like that, providing prints, so many other things. So I think there's ways to monetize your artwork outside of just pure collecting or donating your dollars. And something that Sierra challenged me to do was to create that stakeholder document. So I have Elizabeth's name on there. I have Doug Shipman from the High Museum, people that I know and have strong relationships with, I'm saying, okay, they have these positions, they have this amazing network or services or information, right? And this is what I'm going to ask of them, and this is what I'm going to demand of them, and start building that conversation too, because I think sometimes we forget that we're in this work alone, but we actually have a great pool of supporters that actually want to help us. So I think it's been overwhelming, but we got to track that internally. So that's more to come, but I suggest you do that too if you haven't done it already.
Yeah, Elizabeth, if you could please, I don't think I can do it right now since I'm live.
She's so great. She's so great.
If you can please DM me, ComfiArt, I will be really appreciative on that. But yes, that's it.
Yeah.
So long, farewell.
All right. I'll talk to you
love.
soon.
Thank you so much, hon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.